All right. So welcome. Welcome, welcome. There we can see you now, Vinny. Great. Today what I'm sharing are 5 preliminary exercises, preparatory exercises for a classical pranayama practice. But having used them myself, I can and taught them as well, I see the application way beyond just having a better pranayama practice. Because these 5 exercises are designed to clear the nadis. Do you all know what a nadi is, or nobody knows what a nadi is?
No, I do not know.
Okay, so nadi is, we're going into Sanskrit language, sort of traditional Indian science. And in Ayurvedic wisdom, medicine, the nadis are recognized as subtle energy channels in our body. And they are many, 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 many. So in the scriptures, it says that we have 72,000 nadis in our body. So you can kind of imagine how subtle and fine that they are. There are 3 main nadis, which you may hear about in yoga class. There is Sushumna, which is the central primary nadi, which is actually found, its physical location is through the center of the spine. So our vertebra is made up of little O-shaped bones, and that hollow space where the spinal cord runs is Sushumna, which is the primary nadi. And this is the nadi that is said to carry the Kundalini energy. If we were to have a Kundalini awakening, this uprising of energy that comes from the base of the spine up and then out through the crown chakra. So that's the primary. And then either side of that, we have Ida and Pingala. And Ida starts on the left and finishes on the left. And it starts at the left at the perineum, and it circles around the spine, finishing at the 3rd eye. So it actually makes, I think, 6 or 7 circles. And the Pingala, which starts on the right, circles the other way, going up and finishes on the right side. And so where these 3 chakras cross, this is where we get the vortex of each of the main chakras. So, where each of the nadis cross. That's what creates that very strong energetic center of a chakra, and a chakra is a center of energy, a spinning center of energy, which we're not going to go into today, but that's just to give you a little bit of an overview. And then those are 3 out of 72,000. The other 71, however many more it would be, basically carry the energy throughout our whole being. And so you can see that Sushumna is a growth channel, growth as in material, physical. Ida and Pingala are subtle, and most of the rest of them are subtle also. And this is how the ancient Indian doctors, Ayurvedic doctors, perceived energy to be held and transported within us. And when we do pranayama, the word pranayama, so prana is life force energy. It's also the breath. So pranayama is mastering life force energy through the breath. So a lot of people think of pranayama and they only think about the breathing. But actually, in order for those breathing exercises to have the optimal effect, we want to look a lot further than just beyond the lungs. And we want to take the whole system into account, because we're working on our life force energy. And there are, of course, many hindrances to life force energy flowing. And the results of a suboptimal life force energy will be lethargy. It could be digestive problems, constipation, congestion. A lot of free divers familiar with congestion in the sinuses, throat problems. And So these 5 exercises really, from the bottom to the top, open everything up so that the prana can begin to flow and travel and move within us. And that obviously makes any breathing exercises, any pranayama exercises we would do after these 5 exercises much more effective. But these exercises in their own right are going to help you on many, many levels. Okay. So let me just get an idea of who has experience with pranayama in any form. I mean, we all breathe, but a regular practice, a structured practice. No from Marianne. Andy?
Just everything you taught me.
Yeah. So we've done stuff. And Vinny?
I have yoga teacher training and I've been a freediver for 10 years.
Cool.
So I don't have a daily practice.
Okay.
Still working on that discipline box.
It's a tough one to tick. Yeah. Okay, great. So quite mixed. So I'm going to teach as if I'm teaching to somebody who's never done any of these before. And if you end up, sharing, in a freediving buddy situation or whatever, and, some people are always asking questions, how do you do that? Or can you help me? And you may find that this helps you with your own understanding, but also if you are ever asked, then often to find the right language to explain these exercises can be so valuable to whoever is looking for help, because there are a lot of people that can do it, but then actually being able to communicate that is another skill altogether. And I've often found that is sometimes lacking in yoga and pranayama. Like, people can do these amazing things, but how they then communicate what is actually happening in their body. It's like teaching the mouth fill. It's such a weird, subtle thing. How do you tell somebody about their glottis? It's really, it's tough. So we're going to start and just kind of break these exercises apart. The first one in particular, you were probably all aware of, Udiana banda. But some of you may still struggle. Some of you may be advanced and also be able to do nauli. And if that's the case, I invite you to jump straight in and do nauli if that feels right for you. But I'm just going to teach from a very basic Udiana banda perspective. Now, we're all at different times in the day slightly. The best time of day to do these exercises is the morning, but definitely to do them on as empty a stomach as possible. So some of you may have eaten already or a few hours ago. So if you have, then just be aware that this may not feel great, or it may not feel like you're doing it to the best of your normal capacity. Okay, so when we practice these exercises in sort of in a classical pranayama ashram setting, it's very much, okay, you do 5 of this, you do 5 of that, and everyone works through at their own pace. So if you feel like, normally we would do 5 Udiana banda. If you feel like you've done 5 and that feels like enough, and I'm still explaining or helping somebody, just feel free to relax until we're ready for the next exercise. And this is true for any pranayama that you do. Like, take time in between just to sit and relax again. We are so good at running from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, that it's a good discipline to begin to instill, especially in spiritual practice, pranayama practice, yoga practice, just to allow a short pause for integration between each separate step. Unless you're doing vinyasa, of course, then it's about flow. So, okay. So Udiana banda, traditionally we do it in a standing position with the knees bent and the hands on the knees with the arms straight, in order for the spine and the whole upper body to completely relax. You can also do it in a kneeling position with the hands on the knees and have a similar effect, but I'm going to stand up to demonstrate. And I apologize, but I've got really bad period pains today. So I'm not going to be able to do too much of the strong inversion of the diaphragm because it's just a bit too sensitive. I didn't know that I was going to be feeling like this today, but you can't control everything. So this is what it is. So as you know, with Udiana banda, so the first thing is the standing posture. And you just want the knees to be soft. And the hands, it's like you really want to dig the heels of your palms above the knees so that the arms are straight, the shoulders are supported by the arms, so that your spine can really be very fluid and flexible and relaxed. And the most important thing is that your abdominal muscles can be soft and relaxed. A lot of people think that doing Udiana banda is about pulling the belly in, and that's wrong. So the idea is that it's the breath that creates the suction. So I'm just going to do, sorry, I'm just going to do a little bit more talking before I move into the physical. So when we do Udiana banda, it's not about pulling the stomach muscles in, because when we do that, we create tension in the abdominal wall. And we want the abdominal wall to be soft so that that inversion can happen from the inside. It's a vacuum effect, a sucking effect from within the lungs, and has nothing to do with the abdominal wall itself. So that's the first kind of mental image to create. It's your lungs are sucking the diaphragm up. And as the diaphragm moves, if your abdominal wall is completely relaxed, it will be sucked inwards and upwards. So the first thing really is to, when you stand there and you put your hands on your knees, is to let your belly hang. Yeah, not to hold it in, not to try and make it flat, not to try and support that inwards upward motion, because actually what you will be doing is blocking it. And the next thing I want to explain is just the science or the physics that occur then with the movement and that upward suction. So when we fully exhale, we use the abdominal wall to support that inwards motion, to put pressure on the inner organs so that they move in and up a little bit with the diaphragm. But then at the end of that exhale, we want to relax the abdomen again. Now, the diaphragm will be in a slightly elevated position because of the exhale, and you may already feel a negative pressure inside the lungs. So if I just show you a very gentle negative pressure, you should see already here up at the clavicle. So you see the hollow there was slightly deeper, simply because my lungs were compressed. And when I relaxed my rib cage and my belly, there was a suction caused by the smaller lungs pulling inwards against the pleural lining and the connective tissues and the diaphragm and the rib cage. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. So when we do Udiana banda and we're looking for that additional inwards upwards movement, the way that we get that is through the natural breathing reflex of the body. So when we are inhaling and exhaling, it's not only the diaphragm moving up and down, but also the rib cage has this lateral lift. So when you do a really big inhale, your rib cage will also expand outwards, a little bit like a pair of wings out to the side. And it's that movement that gets us that really nice, strong Udiana banda stretch. So when I fully exhale and I place my hands on my knees and I fully lock the throat, so this is the furthest you could go with Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi is and if you close that lock, that's the glottal lock. And that's what we have at the end of the exhale to make sure that we don't breathe in again. And then with that glottal lock, it's like you try to inhale, but keep it locked. And what happens when you do that is you see the suction that's going on there, even without the full exhale. That's because the action of inhaling triggers the rib cage to do this. And when this happens, it creates a negative pressure from the top and the bottom, the flexible parts of our lungs and breathing apparatus. They get sucked in because out here it's being pulled outwards this way. Okay, so the lungs would be square, they're being made a flatter, longer oblong. Does that make sense? So that's what we're trying to achieve in the lung space, and that's what then draws the diaphragm up. Any questions? It's a lot of talking. We're going to get into practice now. Okay, so find your comfortable position for whether you're standing or if you prefer to stay on your knees, that's also okay. Might actually be better for me to do it this way for the camera. Let me see how I'm going to do this. Okay. All right. Okay, so the knees are bent, the heels of the palms really pressed into the knees, so the arms are locked straight, the shoulders are pushing down through the heel of the palms into the knees. So the spine is completely loose, and soften your belly. Soften your belly. And you can take a couple of long, deep breaths here just to get comfortable and relaxed. Focus on the softness in the belly. And then when you're ready to do your first one, you do a full exhale. You lock the glottis and you inhale strongly against the locked glottis, keeping your belly relaxed. Hold for as long as is comfortable. Then release the belly. Release that urge to inhale, then relax the glottis and then inhale. And take a few breaths. So if you're familiar and confident with doing this, then continue. If you have a question, you're struggling, then let me know. Okay, otherwise, you're going to do 5 cycles in your own time and then relax when you're done. Okay, but anytime I'm here, shout, wave. Okay, so when you've done 5, just relax a few moments, take your time. And in that relaxation, turn your awareness inwards to your body and just take a few moments to reflect what you feel and where. And then we'll have a little sharing. I'm just looking after a friend's dog and she's just disappeared on me. So I'm just going to go make sure she's okay. So take these few moments just to reflect and notice where you feel it and what it feels like in your body to do Udiana banda. All right. So does anyone want to share how they feel that Udiana banda affects them, could benefit them, does benefit them?
I can go.
Yeah, go Vinny.
So this time is a bit different with the cold on the chest. So that was really cold. In the inhalation afterwards, it was like very, very cold. But they, whilst I'm actually holding the breath, funnily enough, my yoga teacher taught us to pull the abdomen in.
Ah, okay.
And that, as soon as you said not to do that, because, and then I said, kind of with you, but lips it creates tension because I feel it every time I do it. So that was interesting that you've taught that differently. So that already felt a lot more comfortable.
Okay.
Kind of doing the expansion of the rib cage rather than the pulling in of the abdomen. But I kind of also get, so as well as the tension previously, which wasn't there this time, like in the dive reflex, when you're in a dive, you can kind of get that lactic acid around the pelvis kind of sensation.
No, never had
No.
that. Tell me about it.
The free divers crapping themselves situation.
What literally?
Yeah, it's a thing, I think, isn't it?
Yes, I'm quite famous for it in my day. Yeah.
Okay. So I kind of have that. It's almost like it feels like a nervy thing going through my sacrum.
Okay.
And it always happens a lot more on like O2 holds. I can never hold a breath out for very long.
Okay. All right. I mean, this is more actually pooing or weeing?
It feels more around the back. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't feel like I'm actually gonna poo.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of, like if you're doing a run on a treadmill for a really long time, the lactic acid is building up, and there's sometimes just a feeling in your kind of sacrum at the back. No.
What are you talking about there?
You've got the burning kind of going up your legs.
Okay.
And then it kind of meets at the sacrum, and that's where it gets intense for me, in a way.
Right. Okay. It's interesting, isn't it? We all have different experiences. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I will come back to that.
Okay.
And see what the others have to say, and then I'll do a little bit of my perspective. Andy or Marianne, is there anything either of you two would like to share?
Yeah, I can share.
Yeah.
So like Vinny was saying, I struggle with negatives. And even though I'm good with positives, it's the negatives that kind of sets me into a stress response. So but it's as soon as you said same thing, is to try to suck your belly in, it's a lot more comfortable. and granted, I've had quite a bit to eat today. And I'm in a standing desk, and if I push my chair away, it's so anyways, I'm on the edge of my chair in a decent position. But the big thing I noticed is I feel a lot more connected with like the base of my skull and the top of my head. That's like there's like a warm sensation that immediately kind of came in, and but it's fascinating because it does feel like a lot more connected, like to my body.
Great.
So.
Yeah, thank you. Marianne?
Yeah, I can share also. I had the same feeling like Vinny and Andy, like the sucking thing is and relaxing the belly was very much comfortable. And but it was the first time I was experiencing with the position you indicated, and it was quite not comfortable. Like I felt something holding my shoulder, like behind my neck here. So this was it, just that. And then I had a very busy day, so it was like very calming down. Just the position, I think, to me is not. Maybe it was because it was my first time with the position, standing with the knees a little bit. Sorry, I lost a little bit my English, but and so it stresses a little bit my neck. Just that.
Okay.
But
yeah, you can do it kneeling on the floor if that feels better for you. So, I would say, some of us will find a position helps us to optimize the actual exercise better. So I wouldn't say there's any hard and fast rules. I mean, what I wanted to say about this exercise in terms of its benefit for the whole pranic body is a lot of us are congested in the digestive system. A lot of us have slow digestion. We have buildup of what is called ama, which is undigested matter, which comes from eating too much, eating too regularly, eating too late, eating the wrong kinds of foods. And ama, from the Ayurvedic perspective, is this it's undigested matter in the digestive system, which then over time, when it builds up so much, it seeps out into the circulatory system and then causes buildup in joints and in other tissues and organs. And it's sort of it's the precursor to inflammation and autoimmune disease. So this exercise, doing this 5 intense, what you're doing is putting pressure from the outside on all of your digestive organs. So what we think about when we're doing is a pranayama exercise is the diaphragm and the lungs and the rib cage and everything that's happening up here. But actually the pressure is happening against all of the abdominal organs. So your liver, your pancreas, your spleen, your large, your small intestines, your stomach. And so if you have any kind of stagnation going on in your digestive system, this is a really, really good thing to do first thing in the morning to get things moving. And the next exercise that we're going to do is kind of the opposite counter. So you have these 2 exercises which give the whole of your digestive system such a good kind of working through and bringing a lot of blood flow and a lot of prana and energy into the digestive system and getting things moving. So, I don't think it's any secret that I suffer from ulcerative colitis, which is a digestive autoimmune dysfunction. And this, for me, on days when I'm feeling bloated or heavy, it's maybe not the most comfortable thing to do, but it can actually help to relieve some of the symptoms and get things moving again. So, and if you're not suffering from any digestive disorders, then it's really good just to keep everything working. And what you'll see of these 5 exercises, we're starting at the bottom and we're going to be working systematically upwards to clear any blockages that can stop our energy, our life force energy flowing. So the digestive system is the most physical, the most gross in terms of, you know, the medical language, the most tangible. And as we move upwards, just the same as in the chakras, it gets more and more subtle. Okay, so Udiana Banda is your first exercise. And as I say, normally you can do 5 repetitions, holding for as long as is comfortable, releasing, taking as many breaths as you need in between, and then just taking a few moments after you've done the exercise just to close your eyes, turn your awareness inwards and observe, okay, what does that actually do for me? What does it feel like? Where does it feel good? Where am I feeling resistance or tension, or still am I blocking something or holding on to tension which is stopping the exercise? So that relaxation of the abdominal wall, really nice to hear the feedback that, yeah, this is such an important and I think it's a mistaught aspect of doing Udiana Banda correctly, is we think we've got to pull the belly in, but actually when we do that, we are getting in the way of having a much deeper experience of the exercise. Okay, so the next exercise is called Agnisara. I didn't make the name up. Agni is in Ayurveda. Does anyone know what Agni is? Okay, it's digestive fire. So when we use Ayurvedic wisdom to help us with balancing our lifestyle, we look to the 5 elements which make up the 3 doshas, which are sort of constitutions. And Agni is fire. Fire is found in Pitta, which is, and the Agni specifically is the digestive fire. So it's the stomach acid, and it's that that energy that enables us to digest food efficiently and effectively. And it is obviously the direct counter to Ama. So if we have slow Agni, we're going to have a buildup of Ama, which is this undigested matter. If we have good, powerful Agni, then we're going to be able to counter the effects of a modern lifestyle and modern eating habits to hopefully not get a buildup of Ama. Ama, just as a side note, it's anything that is undigested. So it's not just the physical matter of food, it's also our thoughts and our emotions. So whenever we are holding on to something from the past, something that we can't digest for ourselves emotionally, this also causes Ama. And you will see this in stress-related diseases, that, you know, the person might have the best eating habits, the best lifestyle, everything's okay, but they're stressed and they're unable to let go and process things. And this over time builds up into inflammation in the system and stress-related disease. So it goes from the subtle to the physical realm. So Ama is not just something in our stomach which ends up in our joints, it's also something subtle that starts as an energetic thing that over time can end up as a physical manifestation in the body as well. So Agnisara counteracts in a way what we do with Udiana Banda. So we have the same principle of working on a full exhale hold. So we will start the same way with a full exhale, locking the glottis. But whereas in Udiana Banda, we are creating an inwards and upward suction, so the abdominal wall is gently massaging the internal organs and creating positive pressure on the digestive system. What happens in Agnisara is that with the full exhale, so the diaphragm is pulled up nicely because of the exhale, we don't try to inhale, but what we do then is that we balloon the stomach muscles outwards. So what happens then is that all of these organs, which just got nicely squished between the spine and the abdominal wall. Now we're pushing them into that position, and then we're creating negative pressure inside the abdomen, and that creates a strong blood flow into the abdomen, and it has a very strong cleansing and activating effect, because as you can imagine, your organs are in there, they're nice and snug, and then you have this strong outwards pull which pulls blood and causes them to expand into that space. So it's about bringing space and air and blood and nourishment into the abdomen to help create movement. It's the same as, you know, if you're doing your laundry and you stuff the washing machine so full, nothing actually gets cleaned properly. And that's kind of what happens in our digestive system. So what this is doing is making space around the organs and within the organs. And space is an essential part of digestion. If you think about space, it's also connected to air. And in order for fire to burn, we need oxygen. Yeah, so it supports the digestive fire and the digestive process by bringing in space and nourishment and movement into all of those organs. It's actually translated as stoking the intestinal fire, Agnisara. Okay. So this one we actually do in a kneeling position, and Andy, you can stay seated on your special desk if that works for you. And traditionally, you're sitting on your heels, and your toes point inwards, and your big toes just kind of touch or gently cross each other. If that doesn't feel right because of the angle of your knees or your hips or your ankles, then just find how you can sit on your knees comfortably. And so with the same thing, so you'll exhale, hold the breath out, and then now what I'm not doing, I'm not moving my pelvis. I'm not doing this. It's not a spinal flex exercise that we have in Kundalini. My spine remains really fixed. My pelvis remains fixed. And what is moving is the abdominal muscles. I don't know if you remember as a child, sort of, oh, look, I'm pregnant, and sticking your belly out and making this nice big round belly. Possibly not Andy, but maybe the rest of us did, I don't know. Or pretending to be a fat man or whatever it might have been. But we have the ability with our abdominal muscles to kind of balloon them out. Stick them out and then pull them in. Stick them out, pull them in. And when you're doing this on an exhale, the diaphragm is nicely elevated, so that's creating space on the vertical axis, and then you start to create space on the horizontal axis, and you've got this big sucking motion that is imposed on all of the organs inside of the diaphragm. So again, you do it as many pumps as you feel comfortable, and it's not a rapid pump. It's not breath of fire either. That's another misconception with Agnisara. It's in and out, and in and out. Really take your time so you get full range of motion. And as much as you can do comfortably on an exhale, then you relax, you breathe, and then you start again. And you're going to do 5 cycles of Agnisara. Does anyone have any questions before we get going? All okay.
Was it that?
Yeah.
So at that pace that you were showing?
Yeah, you can, and you can even slow it down. I mean, I find with Agnisara, it's an odd movement. It's a very unfamiliar movement. So I would say start even slower, pull in, push out, to make sure you're really getting that sensation of what it feels like to push the belly out, and then pull in and push out. And as many as is comfortable on one exhale hold. As you become more familiar with it, then you can maybe find that you get a different rhythm coming in. But there's no rush on this one at all. Okay, so 5 cycles, 5 breaths, and then relax again. If you want to get a deeper exhale, you can also bend forwards at the end of the exhale to get a bit more of a stronger sensation, but just go with what feels right for you today, particularly if it's the first time. There's no performance going on here. It's just about having the experience and really feeling it. Okay, so when you finish, just sitting quietly, relaxing and feeling, reflecting inwards. Where do you feel that? Felt good? What felt maybe clunky, awkward? Anyone want to share around that one? Probably new for all of you, most of you.
I can share.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely new for me. That was it was really intense on kind of like the solar plexus. So, like it was almost like dropping like my heart down at the very, very furthest extension. Like a lot of vacuum. It was, like very intense. But yeah, after a while, just the after effects is kind of a lot more centralized as far as like the gooey good stuff, you know?
Yeah. And it's interesting, you know, what you say about the heart is, yeah, of course. I mean, it's going to put that opposite pressure on the diaphragm, drawing it down. And yeah, maybe you do feel it up in the chest cavity as well. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that really. Thank you.
I can share. It was very new for me also. It was the first time. And for the maybe 2 or 4 or 3 first was very hard here in the chest. Like it was like so it was very strong here. I don't know why, but it was here. And then it was much more easy and not nice. I wouldn't say nice, but peaceful. Yeah, close to peace.
Okay.
Voila.
Yeah. I think sometimes, you know, when we have a new exercise, we're so focused on doing it that we might be holding unnecessary parts of the body as well. Like,
yeah, and
have a tendency, we need to contract one thing and we contract a whole muscle chain.
Yeah, but it was like a direct response from all this part. I don't know if you see. Oh, wait, sorry. All this part, like it was like here on the glottis. That is the name.
The glottis and the esophagus. So
yeah,
the whole.
like that. But then I don't know. It was much more relaxed and okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll think about that. I'm not sure what that would be, but yeah, thank you. Vinny?
I liked it. It was my first time doing that as well, actually. And I prefer that to the Udiana banda. It felt less tense. And I feel it less here. The Udiana banda on my epiglottis I find quite hard. But it's the other interesting thing is it feels like Udiana banda is more the back and this is more the front. So I felt like more going on with my back in Udiana banda felt quite clear, and now the front, this feels like more in the kind of the front feels more clear. Yeah.
I mean, you know, we talk about 72,000 nadis. I mean, who knows really, you know, when we do these exercises, what impact they're having on the more subtle levels. So, and this is why it's so important to just stop and reflect and turn your awareness inwards to actually appreciate what is happening inside of your body. And each exercise has an effect and creates a change in the flow of the energy, the blood flow on the physical level. But, you know, our prana is the life force energy. And it's something that in the West, we don't really think about. And it's everything, you know, without prana, we are not here. We're dead. So it's good to sort of have this opportunity to reflect and see ourselves as pranic beings, energetic beings, through these exercises to wake it up and wake ourselves up to it as kind of the essence really that powers us through every day. Okay, so the next one's fun. I would imagine most of you have seen it, if not done it. Again, so you can sit with your legs crossed or sit on your heels and knees again. And your arms are extended and your hands are on your knees. And this is called Simha mudra. Simha mudra. Simha is the lion. So you might know what's coming when I say that.
Funny faces.
Yeah. So what we've been doing is we've been working a lot on the energy down here through the diaphragm, and as you've experienced, also coming up into the chest cavity. The next 3 exercises are really working from the diaphragm upwards. Okay. And this is a very, very strongly cleansing exercise. So we're going to take a big breath in. And as we breathe out, it's like you flex your claws. I'm too close to the camera. So you flex your claws, and I've got a cat in front of me. And you exhale, you stick your tongue out as far out and down as you can, and your eyes are wide open and they roll up. Okay, so it looks like this. And it can be with, without sound, but it's very much a super forceful pushing up. This is really cleansing for the lungs, getting congestion out of the lungs. The eyes go up and the tongue coming out. Oh, somebody's joining us right as we're going to be doing this. That's so funny. Okay, let's see if we scare them off. Okay, so 5 repetitions of Simha mudra. Is everyone okay with this? So it's a much simpler one. I'm guessing no questions. But does anyone have one? All good?
And you're exhaling out.
You exhale powerfully out as far as you can go. Hi, Ahmed, you're just joining us as we're doing Simha mudra. So just jump in and you may want to watch this one and then join in for the next. Yeah, so you take a big breath in. Extend the fingers out like claws and really strong. As strong on that exhale as you possibly can. It's not a sigh. It's to really push as much air out as quickly as you can. There may be an urge to cough afterwards. So after your 5, sit quietly, close your eyes and reflect on the feeling in your body. From the physical to the energetic and the subtle. Okay. Oh, people are coming in now. I'm guessing there's been a confusion over the time zones. Okay. So those of you who just did Simha mudra with me, any thoughts, feedback, share?
That kicked my ass.
It kicked your ass. In what way?
Lots of hacking and coughing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Felt
it's
like
extremely cleansing for the airways. But
yeah, it was like parts of the lungs were just like, okay, there's some air.
yeah, it can feel quite stressful. So, I mean, if when you have a strong response to it like that, then it's kind of what we resist is what we need. See if you can build it in, but maybe start gently. Maybe not doing 100% of the exhale, but to 50. Oh, more people are joining now. Oh dear. And work up, and your lungs will get stronger, and any sort of congestion that is hanging around there, whether that's physical congestion or just energetic, not used to breathing deeply and fully, should clear up. So Ahmed and Brenda, who've just joined, I think there's been a mix-up with the time. We're just coming to the end of the physical exercises. We've got 2 more to do, though, so you're very welcome to be with us, and then you can watch the recording another time. But thank you for taking the time to be here. It's great to see you. Marianne or Vinny, did you have anything that you wanted to share on the Simha?
I could share that was the only one that wasn't cold on my lungs, interestingly.
Okay.
And my heart was pounding. Yeah, it's like a bit of a Tiggy energy, isn't it? Bouncy Tiggers.
Yeah, it's a funny one. I mean, it always gets people laughing and feeling slightly uncomfortable, but yeah, it's fun. And Marianne?
I felt the same as Andy here on the throat, like oof. And it was so short each time that it was a big contrast with the 2 first exercises. And physically, I felt like my arms are very warm, warmth in my arm. Voilà.
Okay. Yeah, maybe the activating of energy channels down through the arms. Great. So, Brenda decided not to stay. Okay. So for the 4th exercise, this is my perception of teaching. This is the one where people have the most problems, or it's a subtle movement, and so it's maybe hard to get right. Now, it's called Jiva mudra, and it just is happening in the mouth. And this exercise is following on from that deep lower airway cleansing through the Simha mudra into more direct throat and sinus cleansing. And the way that we do this is with creating negative pressure, so a vacuum or a suction in the back of the throat. And the way that we do this is with the tongue and the lower jaw. So I'm going to come closer because it is a tricky one to explain. So what I'm going to do, you've got the scratchy throat now from the previous one. Hey, Andy. It happens. You've got some phlegm now moving around in your throat. So for Jiva mudra, I'll explain it and then I'll show it. So I'm going to put my tongue against the roof of my mouth. I'm going to create a sucking, a backwards, downward sucking movement. And at the same time, I'm going to drop my lower jaw. And you will see the frenum, which is that little line. Yeah. Between the tongue and the lower jaw. I want to put as much tension on that as I can. And keep sucking and opening until that tension breaks and there's a pop sound. Okay, so I'm going to show it to you. And then if you've got any questions, I'll maybe come back with some more explanation. So it's So I'm sucking at the back of my throat, sucking the tongue up and back, and it's really stuck, jammed against the roof of my mouth, and the jaw is pulling down. And so it's this counter movement, this counter pressure of the tongue being sucked up and pulled down at the same time. That creates a suction in the back of the throat, which activates movement inwards from the sinuses into the back of the throat and through the nose, and also upwards. Okay, so do it as much and hold it, feel the pressure building, and then at some point the tongue will pop away. And you can do this 10 times. Is everyone okay, or does anyone have a question? Or are you all getting this? If you have a question, just shout out.
Shall we keep our mouth closed, or shall we
Open.
Okay.
You do exactly what I'm doing. Exactly
Okay.
what I'm doing. This isn't just for demonstration. This is what you do. And you want to feel that stretch underneath the tongue. And then when you finish 10, then you can just sit, turn your awareness inwards, and just take a moment to notice how you feel. Okay. So I just have a sensation of mucus that's come down from the back and is sitting in the back of my throat. If you have the same, it can be useful just to kind of clear your throat and try and spit it out rather than swallowing it if you have that. How did you all find it? Ahmed, do you want to share? Oh, No, we can't hear you yet. Yeah.
Now, yeah. I don't know. I think I do it wrong, or I don't know, but I don't feel anything. Yeah,
Okay.
Except, yeah, it's the stretch here. Yeah, it's, but no.
It's okay. I mean, were you getting the click, the suck and the click?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that you have that sort of sensation of the sucking until then the tongue. So what I'm seeing is you're doing this.
Yeah.
No. The whole of your tongue is up on the top of your mouth, all the way to the back. That looks better. Yeah.
Okay.
You feel the difference?
Yeah, that's difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, it is hard. Yeah. So it's almost like you're trying to suck the tongue up and back. And that's how you get that stretch at the front underneath. And that's how you create the suction. So make sure that your tongue all the way to the back, between the upper back teeth, up to the soft palate. Your tongue is up and back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You can practice and come back to me on what you feel. Okay, who wants to share? Thanks, Ahmed.
Well, it's kind of painful, actually.
Where?
I don't know how you call it, the little thing that, yeah.
The frenum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and here the muscles here. Voilà. And that's it, the feeling. I didn't put anything.
It's an unfamiliar, it's a completely unfamiliar thing to do. Tension, I think a lot of us hold tension in our jaw and our neck.
Yeah.
But when you actually start to use the muscles, it could be because they're already so loaded and tense.
Yeah.
That they quickly go into fatigue. So the next exercise will be good for you. Just to kind of be aware of getting as much softness and relaxation into your jaw and your tongue and your neck. See if you are holding on, because it's a place where we do hold tension and stress.
Okay.
Yeah. And Vinny?
The same. The where it joined, the yeah, really quite tender down under the tongue.
Yeah.
But not on the tongue where it meets. And I don't know, yeah, kind of near where your little spitty bits are. The other thing, I'm not getting much of a suction, so I might be going overdrive. I'm kind of like, is the soft palate supposed to be open, closed?
You don't need to worry about the soft palate being open or closed.
Okay. Because I can breathe through my nose while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, so can I.
Right, okay. So I'm doing it right.
Yeah, I mean, I know that, for instance, when I wake up in the mornings, I feel quite congested. Like I feel like I've got a lot of gunk. This is ama. This is another manifestation of ama, is the congestion in the nose and the throat in the mornings. So I know for myself that I have a tendency to have ama in my sinuses. And I'm very familiar with that feeling of that sort of almost like a nasal drip, mucus running down from the sinuses into the back of the throat. It may be that you don't have that. So what I experience of this sucking and the mucus in the back of the throat, you may not feel. Andy.
So I can't breathe through my nose when I'm doing it. But it's a really powerful suction. I was definitely getting feeling the pull, but it was like so powerful it wanted to pull some of my sinuses. What was in my sinuses down in, so I'm like, oh wow. But
Turn
then
yourself
again,
inside out.
The other one was bringing stuff up from my lungs. This was trying to bring stuff from my head.
Well, that's
back
the
to my throat,
purpose.
so.
Yeah, that is the purpose. Actually, just now when we talk about soft palate and I think about the, you know, what is going on inside and what's the goal, I guess in order to clean, let me think about this. Yeah, I'm not sure if it makes a difference, but I would imagine the soft palate being open means that that suction is entering the sinuses. If the soft palate is closed, then the suction remains in the back of the throat and we don't get to access the sinus space. Yeah, okay. But it's good that you're feeling a strong suction and you, I mean, I can hear in your throat that there's some stuff going on there now, so it's good. Sonia, hello. I think there's been a mix up with the time. We are now on the last exercise, but it's nice that you're here. And we'll finish off with a pranayama as well, and then you can watch the video to join in for the first part. But it's great that you could join us. Thanks for being here. Okay, so the last exercise, and this one is just lovely, lovely, lovely. So sit and get as relaxed as you can. It's called Brahma mudra. Brahma is one of the three manifestations of God in Hinduism. And he's the preserver of the universe. And this is called the four-headed deity. And you'll see why. So we're going to move super, super slow. Super slow. Your breathing is just relaxed. You don't need to coordinate it with anything. And you're just going to turn your head super slowly to the left. And then when your head gets as far round to the left as it can go, your eyes will keep moving. So if I start to look to the side of the room, my eyes can keep going until they can actually see the back of the room. And it'll take me about 15 seconds to get as far back and round as I can. And then 15 seconds to come back. The eyes tracking back to center first, then moving with the head. And you keep the eyes open. It's a soft gaze. Soft gaze. And then you take 15 seconds to go around to the right. Again, super slow, super gentle. And when your head feels like it's coming to its maximum twist or turn, you'll find that the eyes can keep going and you track the eyes to the back of the room with a gentle, soft gaze. Not really looking at anything. We're just taking in the space around you. And then the eyes start to move back till the center of your head, and your head moves back to center. So all of that is about a minute. And those are two of the four heads of the deity. So now the next two heads of the deity is your head is going to go back. And as your head goes back, your eyes come down to the tip of your nose. Same slow pace. If you've got neck problems, be very gentle on the backwards, upwards look. Be conscious to really rotate just through the upper vertebra. And 15 seconds back to center. And finishing with the final one, the chin tracks down and the eyes are going to come up to the third eye. So a little bit like we did in Simha mudra. Trying not to focus. It's really hard with the screen in front of me to do this and not look. So eyes tracking upwards to the third eye. Chin down as far as you can take it comfortably. And then coming back to center. And you're going to do that 4 more times. Left, right, up, down. Okay? Super gentle, super slow. Just opening up the nadis through the neck. So connecting the body, the heart, the lungs, to the brain, the eyes, the nose, the tongue, the ears, all of our senses. And of course, to the 2 upper chakras, Ajna, the third eye, our center of intuition, and Sahasrara, the crown chakra, our connection to the divine. So very, very important to ensure that we don't have any blockages through the neck. Focusing on relaxing your body as you do this as much as you can. Finding ways in which you can be gentle and soft. And for once in your life, not rushing. Not needing to be anywhere other than here in this moment. When you've finished all 5, just relax. And that can mean even going into Shavasana for a few minutes. Lying down on the floor, completely relaxing, completely activating parasympathetic nervous system. So it should be your last one, or you finished. And we're just going. Sorry, I'll let you all finish. So if anyone has anything that they would like to share at the end of that final practice, then please go ahead, unmute yourself. Yeah, Andy.
Trying the raise hand function. How many reps were we supposed to do for that whole process? So it was
5.
left, right, up, down, 5.
5.
Okay.
Yeah. So all of them, apart from the tongue clicking, are 5, and that one is 10. It's so short.
That
Yeah.
what I'll share is just that last one felt like it was very reorienting. I didn't complete the whole thing, but it felt very reorienting for my balance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Anyone else? Yeah, Vinny. Oh, who's that?
I can wait.
Okay, I go. Me, it was very difficult to make the eye follow the movement of the head. It was like a true constraint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was challenging
I
to
think
have the same rhythm. I don't know, to connect the movement of the eye with the movement of the head. It was an effort to do. It was not easygoing. It was not fluid. It was yeah, it was a bit difficult to make it together.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I learned about the eyes in freediving, or I experienced this, is if we think about sight, it's such a strong aspect of us feeling in control. I don't know if any of you have ever gone on a longer retreat where you've been blindfolded. But I've done some, I think my longest was 3 days of being blindfolded. And so you realize how much all of our awareness is connected to sight. And not just spatial, but the passing of time as well. We reference everything through our eyes. And so it's very activating of and activated by the ego is our eyes, like this feeling of I don't want to not be in control, and what can I anticipate, what do I need to be aware of? So this sense, like we're not good with uncertainty as human beings, and the eyes are for me, I think our most our strongest connection to a sense of certainty. And so this sort of just relaxing and the eyes actually don't have to do anything is making it's quite challenging, because they come forwards in the head. It's like, well, what am I looking at? What am I looking for? And this is often you might hear in meditation practice, allow your eyes to sink back, allow them to relax back into the head. And it's quite, if you have this problem, it's quite nice to get a slightly weighted eye pillow. Just fill a sock with some lentils or something if you don't have anything.
But it's what you,
go on.
And it's nice what you say, because actually when diving, it's one of my best feeling was well, not best, but quite was with the dust clip, with closing my eyes, and I could feel my body and correct the balance and just woof.
Yeah,
was some of my best inside feeling was with my eyes almost closed, and you can see things, but it's like poof, it's not attracted by anything, and it was so relaxed and so balanced.
Yeah.
I follow you on that.
I would recommend, even with a mask, to dive with your eyes closed. It's a meditation anyway, you know, unless you're there for the reef and the fish.
Yeah, no, well,
you're really
depends.
there for an experience within, and it's much stronger and much easier when your eyes aren't distracted.
Yes. Yeah, it's like you just let yourself go.
Yeah.
So it was nice to experience this struggle.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can maybe start by half closing them, so you have more of that meditative drishti, the yogic gaze, the drishti.
Yeah, the drishti, yeah.
You're not really open, and you can then work on the eyes being more and more relaxed. That way. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vinny?
I forgot. I was just feeling very, words have gone, just connected, very calm, very nice. Yeah. We're good.
Cool. That's great. And Ahmed?
Yeah, me too. I find it relaxing, like a meditation.
Yeah.
I was enjoying it.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is lovely. I mean, I would say I'm more slow in my lifestyle now, but before I would get very frustrated with how slow I had to move with this one, and it's taking too long. Now I can appreciate it more. So yeah, I can see how my state of mind is maybe developed to a more relaxed way. Okay, so with that as the preparation, I mean, that was really what I wanted to share this evening. I would just like to invite us all to do some pranayama for a few minutes, just to close off the session, if that's okay with everybody. I always find Anulum vilom universally applicable and relaxing. Anulum vilom is alternate nostril breathing. You might also know it as nadi shodhana. And this is where we use this mudra to control the breath. So the right thumb will close the right nostril so that we can inhale and exhale from the left. And the ring finger and the little finger control the left nostril so that we can inhale and exhale through the right. The pattern is that we will inhale through the left. We will block both nostrils and do a complete Jalandhara banda. And this is really recognizing the axis of the top two vertebrae, that the head can just tilt forwards and the chin tucks right in as we hold the breath. And then we come up, releasing the thumb to exhale through the right. Then we're going to inhale through the right. Block both nostrils, tuck the chin in, the hold, head comes back up, and we release and exhale through the left. That's one cycle. Now, depending on how you're feeling, so if you've got COVID, you might want to do less of a breath hold. If you're feeling strong and fit and you have a good breath hold already, you can choose how long your breath hold is. So the ratio for the actual breath is, if you inhale for 3 seconds, you hold for 6. If you inhale for 4, you hold for 8. So it's a ratio of 1 to 2. Your exhale is always twice as long as your inhale. And your breath hold can either be the same length as the inhale, if you don't want to push it. In fact, you should never push it. But if you're feeling, you know, maybe Vinny with COVID at the moment, you just want to do a very relaxed, easy breath hold. If you're feeling like you want to have a deeper practice and it's not stressful for you to hold the breath the same length as the exhale, then you can do that. Okay? So what I suggest is that we just take a few moments to find what our base ratio is. So whether that's the 4-8 or the 3-6 or the 5-10, what is your inhale and your exhale ratio? And then we'll go into the practice itself. So can you hear that? The metronome? Yeah? All right. So that's your 1. So we'll just take maybe 10 rounds to find, are you a 3-6? Are you a 4-8? Are you a 5-10? And then we'll just go into the practice. Does everyone have their ratio, or is somebody still looking? You're good?
I'm 4-8.
4-8. Okay. Everyone else okay? Yeah? Okay. So just a reminder, we tend not to use these 2 fingers for holding, so it's the thumb for the right, the ring finger little for the left. And you can choose if you're a 4-8, if your hold is going to be 4 or 8 seconds. Okay, the idea is that you always stay completely calm and relaxed. If you feel yourself getting agitated, stressed, heart rate rising, heat generated inside, then step back. Either reduce the length of your breath hold or take your ratio down by 1. Okay? So just begin when you're ready. When you exhale left, you can just relax. Okay. All right. So I guess Andy had to leave. It's in a different time zone. So do any of you have any questions or would like to have a final sharing? I'm also happy to field any coaching questions, whether that's to do with free diving or spiritual practice or life. So this is just a space for us to just share a little bit and round off. So yeah, let's start with the practice if anyone has anything.
Yeah, I have a question about the breathing exercises on pranayama. It's always a question of should I do it before yoga or after yoga, before meditation or after meditation? Is it related to anything of that, or should I do it in a sequence, or no?
I don't think there's any hard and fast rules about when you should do it, and either in time of day or related to other practices. I personally find pranayama is a really beautiful preparation for meditation, and whether you practice it before or after asana, I think depends really on how you want to feel. You know, you can have it as a preparation to get the subtle body more ready for the physical practice, or you can have it as a subtle practice after the physical practice to kind of come down as a form of meditation after your yoga. So I don't think, well, somebody might tell you that there is a definite order, but
Yeah.
That would just be based on their own personal preference or what they've been taught. My feeling is much more to find out what you feel and to respond to what you feel your body needs. So, you know, if you're coming to the mat, but you feel maybe a little bit sluggish, lethargic, then maybe you want to start with some pranayama or just the preparatory exercises before you go into your asana practice. Maybe
Yeah.
on another day you feel completely the opposite. So I think part of our spiritual practice is to learn to listen to what we need in the moment.
Yeah.
It's great to have teachers, but ultimately we are our own teacher and we're our own authority and highest source of wisdom. So, and I think that that's an important part that maybe gets forgotten in spiritual practice, to trust ourselves, to trust, you know, what our body is telling us, what our energy is telling us on any given day or any given moment. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vinny?
Yeah, I think I just want to say thank you. That's been lovely. And done some things I haven't done before. Freediving, I would just love to come and spend some time with you, really, and the yoga side of things. I was out in Indonesia for 3 months, but kind of almost 4 years ago now. And I would love to just get back into, more of a routine with freediving. I'm doing my instructor training at the moment, and I'm writing a piece on, so you know the presentation that you have to give.
Yeah.
I'm a medical herbalist as well, and I'm writing it on using phytotherapy and ginkgo. And it turns out ginkgo has got so much research and loads of it is really great for free diving. So it's basically turned into this dissertation that's taken me months and months and months to do. And every time I go back to it, I find more and more research and more information. And I'm just like, oh my God, just where am I going to draw the line? But part of what I've actually explored is that is the damage that CO2. So I've had 2 abdominal operations now, keyhole surgery, where they inflate the abdomen with CO2, and how CO2 can actually potentially cause adhesions. And I quite often end up with real like tension and pain in my gut when I'm freediving, since those 2. And it's ginkgo, it's the antioxidant specific qualities that are supposed to help with that. So I've got myself some on order. But yeah, I think with the, sorry, what was that?
You are your own guinea pig.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I would love to come over, basically, in a nutshell, at some point.
I'm not in Dahab anymore. I don't know if you know.
No, I caught a glimpse that you were moving. I hadn't seen that you've actually left now. Are you in France?
No, I'm in the Canary Islands in La Palma.
Right.
But since the relocation, I moved to the island that had the volcano the year before.
Oh no. Okay.
And my house was very close. So I got evacuated, and the beaches are closed because of the gases. And I haven't been in the water for ages and
Oh
ages.
my goodness.
And I'm now having to move again because they're knocking my house down to widen the road. So I feel like even though I've been here nearly 2 years, I haven't started settling in yet. So I'm not taking any one-to-one work or face-to-face work, let's say, like that. I am working with people online, but that doesn't sound like that's what you're looking for at the moment. But we could have a separate chat and see whether there's something that you would be interested in exploring. But right now, I'm not in the water or on the mat at all.
Okay. I have just thought you could potentially help me. I need to get the 4-minute breath hold. And that I am struggling with, because I end up, so I've got a 5-month contract coming up. So I'm a medic as well. So I'm working as a medic on construction. It's like 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. So then I just don't have time for anything else. But after the 5 months, but in that time, really, I need to try and I've had a few kind of stressful interactions as well with freedivers that's potentially taken a bit of the joy out of it for me. So I need to connect again with someone who brings the joy back and brings my inner calm out. And yeah, so even the one-on-one, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Do some statics.
I don't know if you
great.
watched the video that I did with Capucine, where she was the last interview chat that I did. If you received my emails for a while,
I saw something. Yeah, I think you mentioned
not the email that went out today, but the one before is the link is in that email, and you can watch that call. She had a negative interaction with her freediving instructor, so that might be a nice call to start off, and then I'll give you an idea of the one-to-one level that I work at with people on sort of the emotional, mental, emotional, spiritual level of freediving and how we work with our mind and our emotions and relationship and everything. Yeah. So yeah, we could maybe if you stay on the call, we could have a little chat at the end.
Okay, thank you.
I'm happy to chat that through with you. Yeah, thank you. And Marianne?
Well, I feel very grateful, so thank you very much. I might get in touch with you for the one-to-one thing. I just come back from a freediving trip, and because I'm struggling with my I have to leave Mali, and it's very, 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 very difficult. And freediving was like a relief for me so far, and everything that was going wrong has been like restraining me in the freediving. So it's taking and it's mental.
Yeah, you take the stress into the water, and then it's
Yeah. And it was so far it has always been like a huge cure for everything, and now the bad is coming with me into the water. So it was like a red flag. So I have to settle things, and I will come back to you, I think.
Yeah.
Because
very welcome.
it's a process. I think I need something connected to freediving, I'm sure, and all the practice that is not it needs to be both mental and physical, and I think it's what you're into, I think. So I have to settle a little writing, and I will send it to you, and we'll see. Can do something about it.
That sounds absolutely fine. Yeah, I'd love to have a chat with you whenever you're ready. I mean, just on that note, both. Sorry, I'm just going to go and let a cat in. Just on that note, I have a group, so I do one-to-one, but I also have a group program, and we're just we're not starting yet, but we're in the preparatory phases. So if either of you might be interested in joining that, which includes sort of Ayurveda along with my coaching, then
Yeah, lovely.
so yeah, we can. I mean, if you want to stay in, seeing as there's two of you that have sort of brought up the same thing, I don't know, Ahmed, if you want to stay and listen, you're very welcome, or if you want to get on with your evening, and I can talk about a little bit more about the one-to-one or group options for anybody who wants to discuss that now.
Yeah, I want to listen.
Yeah, okay. You're welcome. Yeah,
It doesn't bother anyone. Yeah.
Can you excuse me to the toilet for 1 second?
Yes, let's have a short break.
I'll be right back.
Let's go for a short toilet break, and then that's a good idea, Vinny. And then I'll answer any questions. Okay, I'll go too. Hi, Max. Hi, darling. Hello. Is it tea time? Is it tea time? Is it tea time? Oh, yo. Is it tea time, baby? Yeah. Is it tea time? I think everyone wants dinner. I think that's it.
Yeah, they've had enough of your attention. It's us now.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know if I start by telling you a bit about both options, and then we can go with questions.
Yeah.
That's fine to me.
So one-to-one is obviously, is completely a tailored program. I start with a minimum of 3 sessions. In order to, I think anything less is you scratch the surface and then you're gone again and you don't really achieve much. 3 sessions I found is can be enough for some people. And the way that it works is I start with a consultation form, which is quite chunky. And sometimes people get it, they're like, oh my God, this is scary. Some people find it easy. People who are kind of used to reflecting about themselves will find it quite easy. Some people who maybe have a bit of fear around some issues or talking about past or emotions, they might find it a bit challenging. And there's no right or wrong with the consultation form, but the more information that I get up front, the more time we obviously have then to talk in the sessions. And it's sort of my launching, my launching pad to make sure I've understood everything and then to start going deeper with questions. And then the first session is primarily a sort of background and fact-finding and starting the process off. And that is between 1.5 to 2 hours. And then the next 2 sessions after that are 1 hour. And I recommend normally a 2-week window between sessions, but it can be longer. Shorter, I find, tends to be a bit too rapid, with not enough time in between to reflect and, if there's a meditation practice or something else that we decide would be suitable. 1 week is not really enough to get into it and to feel how it's working and to come back and talk about what's going on. So 2 weeks is good. It can be a bit longer, but I recommend not shorter. And and then after that first 3 sessions, if you want to continue, then I do blocks of 3 or 5 or 10 with discounts or single sessions. And that's, something that you can design around your work and your schedule and training. And so that's sort of the most flexible option. The next option I have is also 1-to-1, but it is based around my Yoga for Freediving program. And so it's sort of a hybrid of videos, which I will direct you towards to watch and study. So with meditation or pranayama practices or kriyas, to give you sort of a framework for a personal practice. And then we have the consultation form and the intake session, and then 4 coaching sessions, which are the 4 sessions that I do when I'm in Dahab or, face to face with freedivers. So looking at the process that I take people through when they are first starting to get into freediving, or their first interaction with me. They might be already advanced freedivers, but if they've never done anything with Discover Your Depths and holistic freediving, then that's sort of the first stage. And so that's, you have lifetime access to the videos and 5 sessions with me. And you can time that again according to what works best for you. Again, I would say a minimum of 2 weeks, but also if you're going training or you've got a freediving holiday, we could work it around that to support, or like you've got your instructor's exam, so we could work it around supporting whatever your objectives and needs are at the time. So those 2 are 1-to-1. And then there's the group program, which has sort of a dual approach. One is the DYD coaching methodology, which you would find in both of those 2 approaches. And Ayurvedic lifestyle wisdom. which is about bringing sort of ancient Ayurvedic science together with behavioral science. So how we can integrate more balance into our daily lives through our food, through our lifestyle, through our sleep, and of course also through our mind and our spiritual practices. And so those are group lectures that we have, one a month for each track. So there's one DYD coaching lecture and there's one Ayurvedic lecture per month. So you'd have 2 lectures per month with the group. And you also get 2 one-to-ones per month, which are obviously just you and me. And that goes for 6 months. So that's a very sort of a clear syllabus and a program, but with the flexibility of the one-to-ones every month, that's where you get the opportunity to go more into your own personal journeys or matters that are going on in your personal life. So for instance, just this evening, I've received some text messages from a woman in the group who's having a little crisis and she's asked me for some help. So it's that kind of sort of flexibility. And the things that come up are, you know, as broad as whatever comes up in life. It can be relationship, it can be health, it can be changes in career, trying for a family, death. It's really whatever comes up, because the principles are how we can recognize our place in the universe, and that the role that our mind plays in shaping our experiences and creating experiences as well. So, you know, life is going on all the time, but we're also constantly creating a whole storyline of our own as to, you know, who was nice to us, who was mean to us, what was fair, what was unfair, what we deserve, and also our own, you know, what we perceive ourselves to be worthy or unworthy of receiving in life and giving to ourselves in life. So yeah, that's the one-to-one, the holistic freediving journey, and the awakened potential group journey. So those are the 3 things that I'm offering right now. So yeah, I don't know if any of you have any questions, or we can also follow up on email, but I'm happy to chat now. So ask away. Marianne, were you going to say something?
Yeah, well, personally, I think I would need it, I think probably a little bit of both. I don't know how, because what you describe with the group lecture is would be good for me, because it's like all the Ayurvedic and things, and it would bring balance and discipline, and I think I need that right now. And there is also a personal thing that I think I would need, the personal or one-to-one thing.
That's included in the group program. So
I included. Okay, so yeah, so probably the group thing, because I would need this program to be more in a healthy, having a relationship with life that is more healthy right now.
Yeah. Well, we were actually due to start at the beginning of April, but because I'm about to be made homeless and I'm in a bit of a personal crisis myself, I've pushed it back for a month. So we're in a,
Okay.
sort of, a preparatory month during April, which is a really good time actually to come in because it gives you an opportunity. What I'm doing is I'm sending out information and videos to the members so that they can start to get an idea of their doshic constitution. So a little bit of Ayurveda background, and you have time to do some background reading. And you, as soon as you jump in, then you get, if you're in at the beginning of April, you get 2 one-to-ones already this month before we start. So I can send you some more information and sign up information if that sounds like the thing that you'd like to go ahead with.
I think, yeah.
That would be great. Yeah, I think you'd be a good fit also. So yeah, cool.
Thank you.
Super. Yeah. Vinny?
I was pretty much thinking along the same lines. I think for now, with how intense work's going to be for the next 5 months, if I just start with the 1-to-1 and then maybe later, once I finish this, I'm buying a house in Wales and I'm moving next to I'm actually buying the house next door to a free diving friend of a decade. And another friend down the road, they were polyamorous, not anymore, together, that is, but still really good friends. And he's an instructor, and we're thinking about setting up our own school there. So the only things I have left for the instructor qual is the presentation and the 4-minute breath hold. So I think if I start working towards the 4 minutes, because I've really been struggling doing static, and it was when I actually started the course, the first meet that we had at the weekend, the first classroom weekend that we had, I got a temperature the night before. So that was the last time I had COVID. So it's kind of beating me with a stick at the moment, COVID. So I think to try and have that transition with someone kind of seeing me out of COVID maybe and getting into a routine would be really nice.
Yeah. I mean, you can't, don't fight COVID.
No.
Because you're going to lose that one. But yeah, boy, we can definitely start with a 1-to-1 with a foundation program, and then you're then free to sort of expand outwards from there however you feel you want.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you.
Okay.
Do you have our email addresses from this?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So I can send both of you. So I'll send Marianne the Awaken Potential, and I'll send you the foundation distance coaching.
Yeah. Thank you.
Me too.
You want 1-to-1?
1-to-1, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I'm still thinking about it, but yeah, I would like to read about it.
All right.
Yeah, I'll get back to you.
Super. Okay, yeah, I'll send you all an individual email then according to what you've expressed as preferences this evening.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's a pleasure to spend time with you, and yeah, it sounds like I'm going to get to spend more time, which is even better. So I really look forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So yeah, I'm conscious of time. It's been 2.5 hours, and you've probably got stuff that you want to be doing this evening. So thank you for being here, and get better soon, Vinny.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Working on it.
Marianne, you're going to be fine. I know these international relocations are tough. I've been there, and
yeah, I know. So this is also part of my reflection, because you definitely know what it is about.
You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right. So you will receive an email from me latest next week, and and then feel free. I'll put my phone number in, and feel free to WhatsApp, or we can connect on another 1-to-1 call if there's any more questions around any of the programs.
Great.
All right. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Lots of love and happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
For you too. Yeah.
Ramadan Kareem.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Take care, all of you. Lots of love.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.